Hi, as part of this video project, I thought it would be a good idea to maybe do a series on the 50 states. I get the impression from people outside the US that they tend to know maybe a lot about New York and California, and they may know, Texas is in the South, or they know about Florida, but a lot of the rest of the country really is kind of a mystery to them. America isn't just one big country, it's like 50 smaller countries where every single state can have its own educational system, every state has its own legal system, some states have the death penalty while others don't. Every state has its own voting system. In some states, everyone votes by mail. In other states, barely anyone does, and you have degrees of difference between each of them. States can be very different culturally, because when people came from all over the world, they settled in different areas. As a result, there's different traditions, different cuisines, different accents. So I decided to start this series to show the breadth and diversity, share some fun facts, and give a better understanding of the country. Why is Delaware our first state? Well, that's because it is the first state. It's their motto. When they ratified the Constitution in 1787, they technically became the first United State of America. Close followers of American politics probably recognize Joe Biden as the senator from Delaware, although originally he's really from Pennsylvania.
The scrappy kid from Scranton, who became Delaware's favorite son.
Have you ever watched The Office, the American show? It's about a paper company in a small town in the middle of nowhere. Well, that town is Scranton, Pennsylvania. Delaware is founded on what was once Lenape native land and is named for the Delaware River. I've only spent about an hour of my life in Delaware. I was driving up I-95 to New York, and there's about a stretch of 25 miles or 40 kilometers, and that's probably the most of the state that many people ever see. Because really, Delaware isn't really known for much at all. Its unimportance is practically a joke in and of itself.
The Simpsons are going to Delaware!
I want to see Wilmington. I want to visit a screen door factory.
Even going back to the Civil War, it was really neither a southern state or a northern state. They had slavery, but they sided with the North. It's considered a mid-Atlantic state, being about halfway between the North and the South. It's really tiny, it's only the second smallest state, just behind Rhode Island. Less than 1 million people live there. Its largest city, Wilmington, is really just a suburb of Philadelphia. The most interesting thing about Delaware, believe it or not, is their corporate law. It attracts lots of big businesses. Over 50% of the publicly traded companies are actually located in Delaware. Not really, it's all on paper. Check this out. Here at this address, 1209 North Orange Street in Wilmington, there are over 285,000 corporations headquartered. 285,000 corporations here? Businesses want to be in Delaware because the state offers them lots of little perks. They have a legal system that's more geared towards corporate law, and the state offers lower corporate taxes. In this tiny state, business is such a big deal that in 2013, the governor celebrated the 1 millionth corporation being filed. Think about that, 1 million companies, and less than 1 million people. It's insane. Many credit card companies also operate out of Delaware, mainly because the credit laws and interest laws are way friendlier to big business. For example, if you miss a payment and your credit card company is headquartered in any other state, they may be limited by how much they can raise your interest rates. But if they're headquartered in Delaware, they can raise your rates to penalize you way more. Well, enough business, let's talk about some famous people. We're going to do this with every state, although starting with Delaware, there's not a whole lot of people from here. Let's take a look. Well, as we've already seen, Joe Biden isn't really from Delaware, he's from Pennsylvania. In looking this up, I did find that Bob Marley, of all people, did live in Delaware. He worked at a Chrysler plant in the 60s. Remember Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Not anyone from the family, but Will Smith's best friend Jazz, he's actually Jazzy Jeff. He's also Will Smith's music producer, and well, he's from Delaware. And remember the Beverly Hills Cop movies? In Spain, they were known as Super Detective in Hollywood, with Eddie Murphy. Well, not Eddie, but Judge Reinhold, his partner, is from Delaware. Well, that wasn't really interesting, but listen to this. We know there are over 1 million companies that exist on Delaware on paper, but there is one company that's from Delaware, and it's actually really important. You use their products every single day. The Dupont company, they're one of the biggest companies in America, and they were once the biggest chemical company in the world. Some of the materials they developed are used in products in every single household. Like the Teflon, which makes things not stick to your frying pan. Or Lycra, which is used to make pantyhose.
Lycra.
And the neoprene, from which your laptop cases made. They also developed Kevlar, which is the material used in bulletproof vests. They're pretty common here. It's amazing to think that thousands of these products come to us, all thanks to a company that exists in tiny little Delaware. And last but not least, you know how America has a symbolic animal, the bald eagle? Well, you might not know, but every state has a symbolic animal. Every state has a symbolic bird, a symbolic tree, a symbolic fish. And I'd like to share with you some of these things from each state, but we didn't really know what to call them. What should we call these things?
No sé. ¿Cositas?
That works. So, here are our cositas of Delaware. The official bug of Delaware is the ladybug. The official fish of Delaware is the weak fish. I have no idea I've never even heard of that. And the official beverage is milk. So, in honor of our first state, cheers!
A weak fish.
A weak fish.
It's because they don't go to the gym.
Maybe.